What's up, everyone? Welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm your host, Ryan Cramer, and this is Crossover Commerce, presented by Ping Pong Payments, the leading global payments provider helping sellers keep more of their hard-earned money. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Crossover Commerce. This is episode 162 of My Corner of the Internet, otherwise known as Crossover Commerce. I'm your host, Ryan Cramer, as the introduction mentioned, and this is where I bring the best and brightest in the Amazon and e-commerce industry. You made it, you're here. Thanks for watching us live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We don't leave out any social media around here. As long as you can go live, we're going to be there. So if you're watching us, thank you for tuning in or watching us. This is an interactive show. So if you have questions or comments or want to tell us where you're listening from, go ahead and put that in the comment section. We love to see where people are watching us or listening to the podcast. Or if you're listening to us at a later date on your favorite podcast destination, you can also do that as well by rating us or sharing the episode itself. You can do that and find all of the other fantastic 161 episodes to date that we have released at usa.pingpongx.com/podcast. That's right, /podcast. If you go to Ping Pong's website, you can find every video that we've ever produced, as well as the audio versions as well, the transcripts, anything you might need to go back and listen to the fantastic guests we have on the show. That being said, alluded to the presenting sponsor and partner of this podcast, of course, is Ping Pong Payments. Ping Pong Payments, no, it is not a table tennis company. We are, in fact, a cross-border payment solution helping e-commerce businesses and B2B businesses alike help you save more money. How do you do that? You do that by cross-border solutions such as paying out your suppliers and manufacturers. If you have trouble, if you want to find ways to save money when you're paying out your supplier in China, for example, or India or Philippines, you do that by paying out in localized currency, and you can do that with Ping Pong. Don't go through a localized bank and pay the ridiculous amounts of fees. You can save money by partnering with Ping Pong Payments. It's free to sign up. It's great to use and put money towards your bottom line, so it saves you time, money, and effort, the trifecta, if you will, of entrepreneurship. That being said, receiving money also just a breeze as well when you're building your brand and growing and selling on multiple marketplaces worldwide. Check out Ping Pong Payments. You can do that at usa.pingpongx.com. Again, /podcast is where all of our great content lives. Sign up for free today. Ping Pong Payments will save you time, money, and effort. That being said, again, everyone, this is Friday. We're in October 1st. You know what that means. If that is an entrepreneur and that gut feeling has started to twist and shout, basically, for lack of a better term, that means it is Q4. What does that mean? Well, that means it's one of the busiest times of year, and that means lots of heartburn, lots of excitement, lots of growth happening, all of the different things that you can expect as an entrepreneur. Hopefully, if you set up your business right, this is what lots of people actually build up for and look forward to. This is when lots of money is spent, obviously, for many different reasons, but this year is kind of a little bit different, right? We have lots of different growth opportunity. This time last year, there was Prime Day was happening around this time. We had a lot of different unknowns with pandemic, and we weren't expecting the logistical nightmares and backups and struggles that you are seeing even to date. So that being said, how are people growing and are expected to grow? Well, there's opportunities and very cool different ways to get your product out there. And one of those is actually with one of our partners at Ping Pong, and that's with HomeRoots. HomeRoots is actually a marketplace to help get your products in front of different kinds of retail outlets. And of course, I'm not going to spoil the line, if you will, of what they do. But people like that and opportunities like that, lots of people just think, I'm going to build a brand on Amazon and that's it. And I'm going to be successful and exit my opportunity there. Well, I think personally, if you're going to speak candidly, there's other ways and there should be better ways to build a brand. And that is actually with partnering with solutions and marketplaces just like HomeRoots. So that being said, we titled this episode specifically, Getting Your Products Offered for Sale by the Largest Retailers. We're talking trying to get into retail locations. There's easier ways instead of individually going out to all these people and managing each individual dashboard. There's one place that can actually help you get your foot in the door, especially in the home area, if you will, of the categories. So that being said, I want to bring on our guest today is going to be the CEO and founder of HomeRoots. His name is Gil Bar-Lev, and he is our special guest today. So help me have a warm welcome to our guest, Gil, from HomeRoots. Gil, welcome to Crossover Commerce.
Hey, Ryan. How are you doing? Good to be here.
Well, sir. Yeah, thank you. You're joining us from New Jersey. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm joining you from New Jersey. This is where we're headquartered. We've been here, for the past couple of years, just been moving around. But yeah, that's where we are.
Amazing.
Other than that, we're nationwide.
You're nationwide. Well, that's good. Yeah, I was gonna say you guys you're growing quite rapidly, and like you said, moving around. So your background, I didn't even get a chance because it's such a fascinating background. You come from various actually big retail stores of the likes of Toys R Us. I believe there was other major players that you played with, but or I say play with Toys R Us play. I'm full of lots of jokes today on Friday. I'm trying to make puns. Trying to keep it light on a Friday. But you actually you were operating in major working on a major financial product with Toys R Us back in the day. So for people who are old enough like myself and remember Toys R Us, that was a go-to place as a kid for pants before Black Friday, for any sort of holiday shopping. You knew what was up, and it was where the places the people were going to buy toys, games, video games, anything like that. So give me more of that background. What's kind of led you to where you are today?
Sure. So in my so that was a good intro, Ryan. But by the way, it was I
appreciate
like that. How you said it. So no, but basically, I've been in my background. I'm a software engineer. Okay, so I was really more into tech and everything else in the past. I will say, make a long story short, in the past 20 years, I've always been in an intersection between the tech, retail, and e-commerce. I got exposed to the retail/e-commerce world when I first joined Toys R Us. Right, I actually joined not necessarily for that reason. It was more for a financial project. But slowly, as I got exposed, and I noticed that they're actually teaming up with Amazon at that time to get their products sold online. They did not have the capabilities of doing it themselves. It was not the main priority at that time. And that's what drove me. And I got pushed into this voluntarily, obviously, but I got pushed into this world.
Right.
And I saw how it, and that's what really was very exciting to me. At that time, we were talking about past, the .com burst, where we're stating selling online was more like, I don't know, it wasn't the best word to describe their business. It wasn't that fun. There was a lot of suspicions. Not too many businesses, even retailers, believed in that much. That was not the main priority.
It was the backup, if you will.
That's the backup. Yes, and
it was not a priority. Yeah, I would agree with that.
It was not. So I've seen, like, over, as I said, I've been in this industry and in this space for the past 20 years. A little bit more, well before the Amazon rush, okay? And I saw the evolution of e-commerce over the years. And I've been part of the Amazon rush myself. I went there, I sold on the marketplace, I've gotten that experience. I've dealt with Amazon personnel, account managers, as well as other marketplaces. I've seen it all. I've seen the evolution. I'm still seeing it every day. We're all seeing it. But something is not happening the same or in the same pace on the B2B side, on the wholesale side. It's just you don't see the same evolution. And what led me to start HomeRoots, or to get into it, was I really saw a fragmented marketplace that, on one hand, if you were the buyer, you had challenges in finding and maintaining relationships with your vendors. On the other hand, if you look at that from the vendor side, there wasn't really a digital platform like what we all know, like Amazon, the marketplace. Then came, in recent years, came the Walmart, the marketplace, the eBay. There wasn't really a digital platform that vendors can really go to, sellers can go to, and can really broadcast their product and say, hey, listen, this is what I want to sell in wholesale. Now, put aside Alibaba, that's more overseas, but you want to get into the US space, you want to get into the North American market. How do you go about it? So I'm not here to blame the vendors, just the market itself was not ready for that type of an engagement. And to be frank, retailers still do not make it easier for for their vendors doing business with them, and that's what you see a lot of drones into the marketplaces. So what drawn me for eventually and HomeRoots into the furniture home decor space was the complexity of the logistics. Right, it's not easy moving those furniture items from in trucks from coast to coast
Anywhere.
anywhere. It's not easy. Even if you want to deliver something locally, trust me, it's not that. We see that as even in consumers, right? It's not simple. And if you are looking for a warehouse to store it, majority of the cases you're gonna hear back, no, we don't deal with furniture. So it makes it so difficult. And because it was difficult, and because I noticed that there's no platform for sellers to really broadcast their products, that what pushed me to go into the Lions Den and make a change.
Right. Well, I was going to say, well, you pointed out so many fascinating topics I wanted to kind of re-emphasize. Furniture and home decor, I've been in that sector, so I understand the pain points, if you will. People completely shy away from the fact of anything bulky or hard or just abnormal because of boxing sizes and just the enormous cost it takes to get it from point A to point B. It could be from warehouse to end consumer. If it's not that, it takes up entire floor spaces. Just one piece of furniture can take up an entire space. That's typical. It's not easy to merchandise. You can't just have it on hand. You have to make sure it's coming from a warehouse, so you have to have a lot of space. So I see all the difficult natures of the problems that you're working with. In that regards too, there's also very high ticket items. People need them constantly. That's why there's all these different retail stores. You're kind of supplementing this area of, what people don't want to have to shop in this locale, or they want to get different kinds of, they want the e-commerce experience, but they don't want the, retailers want the e-commerce experience and the ease of spread, and I can get my name out there, but they don't want the nature of I have to sell it directly or put it in a warehouse and the fees that come associated with it. So you're kind of that new age solution, if you will, right, to make sure that they're offered in all these places.
Yes, yeah, basically. So through so that leads me to what HomeRoots does, and
Sure.
if you want to sum it up, I mean, HomeRoots is a B2B sales channel, right, that enables manufacturers and sellers, around the globe, basically get their products into the North American retailers, right? So North American retail market. So there's you mentioned, you touched upon that about the e-commerce and the easiness of the e-commerce. So I can tell you there's many sellers by default, and again, there's too many choices available either, but by default, they go to sell their products on the marketplace. Like you said, at the beginning of your intro about Amazon, and about now it's more recent years, it's Walmart, and there's got to be an alternative, or maybe additional way of getting your products out there. But I'm not here to say, that there's, skip or don't do your Amazon or Walmart business. There's, if you put a HomeRoots aside, if HomeRoots did not exist, there aren't really too many options out there, right? Those are the only options that are given to you, that you can actually sell DTC, right? That you can actually get your products out there to the consumer. And I'll give it to Amazon and Walmart. They're pretty much making it easier than other options that were there, again, before HomeRoots, to get your product sold out there, right? So that's a natural reaction. That's a natural some type of a place to go if you want to sell online, right?
So yeah, well, I was going to say, so maybe walk me through this, Gil. For the person who is out there and say, I hear that it's an option or it's a solution. So for everyone who's listening to this, and the listener who says, all right, who's this apply to? Who's your market? Who's the ideal customer that this is going to benefit and change their world as they sell their products?
Okay, so our ideal customer, or I will say more of a seller, right? Is a seller that is within our space, has to have products that are in the home furnishing, decor, or around the house type of products, Okay, so they have to sell it. Like if right now they're selling electronics or they're selling, I don't know, beauty care products. We're not
inside the home. Anything inside the home, basically. Yeah, we're talking kitchen, we're talking bedroom, we're talking all these places, bathroom, everything.
Yeah. So if you're in this space and you're manufacturing your products, and you're looking to get your products sold into the retail space, and you're looking for additional sales channels other than just Amazon and Walmart, you're looking to play with the big guys, okay, without all the complexities of playing with the big guys. HomeRoots is your place. So if you need to have your inventory in the US, we have to have that. You can have your own distribution center that you can fulfill from, or you can use one of ours. But you have to have, we obviously recommend that you use ours for many benefits, and we can touch upon that shortly. But I will say that you have to have your merchandise in the US ready to ship. You got to have, if you're doing it on your own, you got to be able to ship it, the items within a day or two if you want to get the most exposure. If it takes you if you have a warehouse that takes them 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get the items out the door, or their inconsistency with their shipping, it's tough. I don't recommend coming. It's not gonna do good. Not just for us. I think in general, I don't think it's a good practice. But that's it. That's all you have to do. You have to be in our space. You have to have your goods in the US, and you have to be engaged. You have to want it, right? And if those are the 3 parameters that you are meeting, then you're welcome.
So to clarify, so we're in a specific category. So that actually hits a lot of different people, I think, if you're a seller. So that if you're out there and you're in that home or that home decor or that home functionality products area, again, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, lots of different products being sold. Again, it could be big items like furniture, but we're talking, it could be something for your home office, like a decoration or a picture or anything like that. So we hit that, who that ideal person would be. So where are the spaces you're fitting into? Is it that space where I don't individually have to work individually with retailer XYZ or different kinds of online marketplaces? What's kind of that space that you fill?
Sure.
And why you're doing that?
Perfect. So I'll give you the background how it is. Again, the world without HomeRoots and the world with HomeRoots, just as a background to our listeners, just to have better understanding, because the retail space is very much different than selling on marketplaces. It's a different world, and it's a different mindset altogether. But let's say the world before HomeRoots or without HomeRoots, okay, is a world where you need to virtually, digitally, physically, whatever it is, knock on retailers' doors and try to get them to submit proposals of products, and following up again and again and again, trying to get them to want to list their products for sale on their.
You're selling yourself to them, basically.
Yes, basically. So the world without that, you have to convince them to buy. You have to maintain the relationship. It's very expensive. It's very slow, and it's going in silos. It's peer to peer. Every account you need to manage individually. And trust me, by all means, for the ones of you who ever tried to do it before, it's not easy. Okay, it's not easy at all. It's very expensive. At times, you can even lose your shirt if you're not really into it. Now, the world with HomeRoots is a world where you don't have to worry about all those things. You're just working with HomeRoots. HomeRoots is per se your customer on the books, right? You list your products on HomeRoots platform, and that's HomeRoots.co. You list your products there for sale, and from there, HomeRoots makes sure that as much as possible, given the requirements of different retailers and their specialties and their needs, but basically we're pushing those products to our business customers and retailers and small businesses. And we're working with you and for you to make sure that those products are actually going to get offered for sale by those retailers. You don't have to worry about all the administrative pieces of work of managing the relationship with them. You don't have to worry about significant issues that are how are you going to get paid? when are you going to get paid? What about my net terms? What about my payment terms with retailers? How I'm going to list? Do I need to learn new portals? Every retailer has their own portal. Like you have the Seller Central for Amazon. Imagine every retailer has their own system, and they're not intuitive at all. So you don't have to worry about all these things with us. You just work with our system, with our portal. We'll give you a seller portal that you can get access to, and you manage everything from there. Like really like an experience. You'll have a similar experience as a seller to you selling on marketplaces. With the same easiness, you can get your products sold by as many as retailers as we can as possible, as well as small businesses. It's not just retail that we offer the products for sale. We sell products to property management groups, and we sell it to stagers, home stagers, interior designers, and any small business. So it's not just retail, but we're going to get all the products out there for you, and it's the easiness of doing things. So that's basically what we're offering. We're offering ourselves like a hub.
Right. I was going to say, to summarize, I think the best way to do is you've built out this network of connections that if I sold widget, or like I have this set of coasters, right? Leather coasters, big product or not a big product, but if I don't want to just sell them on Amazon, I can have them available in multiple packs. I would go to HomeRoots and I say, hey, listen, I want to have this listed for, I probably have the same interface, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. I say, this is what it is. This is how much I want to sell it for. This is what comes with it. I list out my product listing, the title, everything like that. And you push it basically to your network of both online and retail experts. Yeah, offline too as well. And people can have that experience and buy directly through you guys of your products. So you're brokering this network essentially of products to, I'm assuming you said hundreds, if not, are we talking thousands of different options? Or tens of thousands. Okay.
Different retailers with almost every, I don't want to say everyone, there's always room for more, but almost every household retail name that you can think of.
Who are the popular ones? Like give me a name, like, or give me a couple names for the listener out there.
Couple good names. We sell to Home Depot, we sell to Lowe's, we sell to Pier 1. We're doing business with companies such as Ashley's Furniture, and we have many more that we're selling to. Even Amazon, and it's one of our customers that we're selling to them as the vendor on the record, not as a third party seller, but even.
So would that be, so you have the one for the basic of the customer, you're selling directly as a wholesaler to Amazon, potentially as a 1P seller, and then they would resell.
Yeah, we're selectively choosing different products, right? We're not pushing everything to them in particular. We're more targeting the world outside of Amazon. But if we have a specific seller that will say, okay, listen, I want my products to be sold by Amazon. I want to give it a shot. I want to try if it works. Instead of just trying to be a third-party seller, right? We can work with them to make it happen, right?
Very cool.
It's just an option.
Well, right. Those are lots. Like, and so what does that look like? So is that when I'm assuming as the person I'm working with you, I have the option to say, I want to work with these select individuals. I want to start with this core group, or maybe it's like a tiered, right? I want to work with these individuals first and see how it goes and then kind of scale. Or is this kind of an all or nothing solution? No, it's just listed and that's it?
No, they just list the products on our platform. And from there, we're taking it from there, right? We're going to push it to, again, assuming that they don't have certain restrictions, right? We do have some sellers who are going to come and say, listen, you know what? I really don't want my product sold on specific retailer, or because of whatever reason that they come up with. It's very rare. We don't have those instances, but if somebody really requests that, we will honor that. Okay, not a problem. Basically, they just need to list the products for us, and we will then push those products out there to the market. So anybody who can potentially sell the products to the consumer will sell the products to the consumer, right? And some retailers move faster than others. So there's just from setting the expectations, right? In difference than marketplaces, in our platform, product will go live. but it's gonna go live with some of the retailers faster than some other retailers. So you'll see as a seller, your experience will see that the sales velocity increases over time, just because we're getting more and more exposure with more and more
Sure.
retailers that are actually offering that to the consumer. So it does the span of increase in revenues is a little bit longer, but it's steady, it's more stable. And then once we really get velocity of sales with specific retailers, now the sales may potentially go offline as well. And then in the offline world, in the brick and mortar world, the volumes that we're talking about are something that I believe that majority of the sellers that or our listeners here in the podcast have never experienced something even close to it, remotely close to it financially. So it's totally different, a different ball game, a different experience. But you have to come with a new mindset. It's
Right. Well,
wholesale.
I was gonna say, with the possibility, and you're talking about, you said thousands of potential portals that people can find your products, that instantaneously opens up what I've always said is, if you're building a brand, you want it to be available in all these different locales, like, right?
Yeah.
You want your product to not just be listed on Amazon, albeit that's where a lot of people go to research to make that final purchase, because that makes sense for a lot of people. But in the industry where, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to start selling a little bit higher end items or goods that are bulkier, it doesn't make sense to put it in an FBA warehouse. Maybe you have it in your own warehouse, have your own ecosystem that you want to, drop ship for, or anything like that. This is that solution. I think is really cool and innovative and fascinating, especially in North America, as you continuously grow out that ecosystem. So what about this? So when I put those coasters on and working with HomeRoots, that gets listed on what, their website, or is just offered for sale directly to that retailer? How does that look on the other side of things?
Sure.
Like once you get that product, what does it look like on the other?
Sure. So the experience from the buying side, on the demand side, I will say that the first step is to really bring it live on HomeRoots, right? Because on HomeRoots.co, we have a large amount of what we classify as the small to medium sized retailers that don't necessarily have their own portal or their own management system. So they really come to our portal and our website to place their orders, right? So and that's the first exposure. The first exposure is, as I said, to all the small businesses, the property management, design groups, everybody else that they'll come to us as business owners to place orders for the product. Now the second piece of it is really taking the products and getting pushed to the retailer's backend system. So those retailers can start first with offering those same products for sale online on their e-commerce sites. They usually tend to start off with that. And then based on the exposure of the products and the velocity of the sales and the length of sale of the products that's been out there, then there's also opportunity to get those products into the stores, right? So this is like the life cycle. So, but essentially, the way that looking again from the consumer, okay, how do I get my product? How do I get to find those products? Okay. All you need to do is you either Google it, or you go to any marketplace, or you go to any website of any retailer that you can potentially think of. You're looking for those products. You will find them to be the HomeRoots product. You will find them there. You'll add to your cart. You'll check out. You'll place the order with the retailer of your choice, right? Once you place the order, the retailer will then submit it over to us, and then we will pass it on to the seller for fulfillment. If they have the order and they have the items in our warehouse, we will take care of the fulfillment. Very similar to FBA, by the way. So it's a very similar experience. They don't have to worry about the fulfillment. We will take care of it. If they want to do it, if they want to handle it from their own warehouse, not a problem. We'll pass on the purchase order information on to them, and they can fulfill from their distribution center. And we'll then, once it gets shipped, we'll sync back with the retailer and let the consumer know that, hey, this is on the way to you.
Right, you're acting as almost a the purchase order. You're placing a purchase order with
Yeah,
my coaster company, or if you will, or my furniture company, and if they
yeah,
have inventory, that fulfillment requirement that you had said earlier in the episode of you have to deliver it or you have to have it shipped at least in 1 or 2 business days. Obviously, that's a
yeah.
huge requirement in the world of a consumer. Obviously, but you said you have your own warehousing network, if you will. How many warehouses are we talking about? What's the space like? Are we all over the
Sure.
United States, or is it
No,
just a few select locations?
so that's a program that we started. We'll say earlier this year. So it's still evolving. I will say. So we have right now we really have two locations,
That's
right?
one way. That's one word for it.
Yeah, one on the West Coast in LA area, and the other one is on the East Coast in New Jersey. And soon we're looking to open up a few more distribution centers. The goal is really to be able to offer our sellers, or let's say even our customers, even to be more direct, to offer our customers the ability to get the products that their consumers or their stores want delivered within a day or two nationwide. Right? And that's something that is pretty unique, I will say, and give a competitive advantage to our sellers versus the other competitors out there, other wholesalers that are out there that are not leveraging HomeRoots fulfillment network, right? Where you can imagine, we're talking about trucks, right? Let's say you're bringing your products from overseas, right? And you lend them there somewhere in outside of LA area from the port, or any warehouse, whether that's on the Jersey side, I would say Elizabeth Port, but wherever you lend them, right? Now to get them to the customer, if most of the customers for those type of products are on the other side of the U.S., you're not going to be that competitive, or sorry, you will be on the ballpark with everybody else, okay, on the same level that it takes them like 10 days, to get the products delivered with the trucks coast to coast. But with HomeRoots, you can really make a difference where you can get your products delivered within a day or two. And that gives a huge competitive advantage to your customers, to exposure, and the willingness of customers to actually wanting to buy those products versus others. And that's something that HomeRoots offers to our sellers. So I do recommend, even though it's not mandatory, I do recommend sellers to use our network. We're building heavily our fulfillment network, and this is our goal. We want that competitive advantage, and we don't need to look far to find very good examples of what's the marketplace are doing. As far as you see the Amazon Prime, you see the Walmart Plus, you see what the 2-day next day delivery does to the consumer. They just now this is what they expect. This is became their norm. So if you're not offering that, you're behind. You're back in the 90s of last century. The world of e-commerce have evolved, and HomeRoots takes you there. HomeRoots takes you into this world where you by yourself, most likely you won't be able to. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to get there.
Well, I like that. If you're growing your network, you gotta look at Indiana in general, just Indianapolis, because of all the network and highways. We have so many different warehouses, and that's what a lot of people do. Fulfillment in the middle of the United States is super key in that regard. So I'm gonna plug my home city right there, if you will, to take a look at, because I know they're growing their warehousing system like crazy.
They are,
and so many people are. And so go to the sourcing and logistics conversation. I love having this conversation because I love it and I hate it, because I hate it for the pains that it's giving people. And I actually sent out this photo to my company. I'm in a couple of mastermind groups with people, and they actually had shared the boats and logistics you would refer to, just trucking in general. The conversations last night were kind of fast and furious. It was, there's such a shortage of truckers. There's such a shortage of workers. Just getting products off a boat and to my fulfillment center is a nightmare. Not just to get it here and to get it unloaded, but to actually get to fulfillment center, and then to have that that product delivered to where it's needed for this end. There's a complete it's a scary shortage of what that looks like. So twofold. And again, I sent the images of the boats in both China's port, which is in the hundreds, which is crazy, and it looks like a Christmas tree split up, and then the ones on the West Coast. So I guess my question for you, Gil, with logistics kind of having the issues that it currently has in this, honestly, no end in sight. I know container prices for some people are starting to go down, but there's other issues like power outages. There's other sorts of things that are happening in different countries. What's kind of happening with HomeRoots in that regards, in the fulfillment side or just logistics side, with big bulky inventory shortages going on right there? Is that a opportunity for you, or is that a really big headache that every night that's kind of your nightmare that you're having to deal with?
Well, we're definitely not 100% immune from what's happening in the market, right? We're seeing, and we're facing a similar situation, because of what our sellers are facing, right? There's shortages of containers and steamboats. There is constant increase in transportation cost, not just ocean transportation costs, but even domestic ones. Like you said, there's shortage of drivers. There are a shortage of warehouse employees, and that impacts, going back to how fast do you need to get your goods out. That goes back to it, right? If you have an instability in your fulfillment employees in your distribution centers, then it does impact your ability to perform as the seller in the market. And so, because there's such a shortage in truckers and such a shortage with warehouse employees, with warehouse space and all of that, if you put yourself in the eyes of a warehouse owner, right? If you run the business of logistics, you run the business, you are going to prioritize your big guys first, right? You're gonna make sure that your big guys, whoever gives you the millions of dollars annually worth of business, are not getting screwed up, because you need them as a business owner. And I'm wearing a hat of a warehouse manager, right? So think about it now. Now, if you keep that in context, and now you're going back to the seller who's looking to get their products into the U.S. sold and trying to find some type of a warehouse, you're not going to be their biggest customer right now, right? You're not going to be in their top list because you're just getting started. Or even if you're around for a year, still it takes time to ramp it up, right? You're not going to be their biggest customer on your first year of doing business with them, right? Unless that warehouse is the first year that they are in business. But you're not, right? So therefore, you're gonna suffer from hard to say it, but it's sad to say it, but you're gonna suffer from the consequences of their shortages, right? Also, same thing goes with the truckers, right? Truckers will tend to go to places where they have the most amount of business with. They will not. Right. They will not prioritize some rural areas that they have one small pickup to do. It's just not economically viable for them, right? So you're if you choose to do things on your own and you're just getting started, you're off to a very bumpy ride, I will say. So and that's really what led us, and we recognize that. We saw that that's the side effects of the pandemic. But we saw that our sellers are facing those challenges, getting the products out there. Even with FedEx and UPS, sometimes they didn't want to come and pick up, and sellers came to us, sorry, the goods are ready in the warehouse. I have the tracking number, everything is ready to go, but nobody comes to pick up, and I don't blame them. It's not their fault. They're doing their best that they can, but they need help. We recognize that they need help, and that's what really rooted from that, we stem the fulfillment centers, our own fulfillment centers, to offer that. We have the power, we have the volumes, we are a meaningful partner to the retailers, to the logistics partners, to the warehouses, to the retail chains. We are a significant and meaningful strategic partner to them, that we are not facing the same issues that many of our sellers faced with their logistics partners, right? So again, it takes me back to why I'm kind of advocating to use our services, because you don't really want as a seller to worry about that. You want the easiness, right? If you think about the Amazon, when you ship your goods to Amazon fulfillment center, in general, I'm not necessarily about our space, because our space, I could tell that FBA is not the most optimized distribution centers and the way to get your products fulfilled out there. But in other space, in other verticals, you're sending it to an Amazon fulfillment center because you don't want a headache of, was there a pickup? Was not a pickup? Do I need to drive off to the next, UPS store or FedEx store or the post office, wait in line, try to get the products out there because I need to meet my my performance metrics and everything? You don't want that. You want the simplicity. You love products. You want to get some sales. You want the easiness. You want to do it from anywhere in the globe where you are. You can do it from some island. It doesn't matter. Get your products over to us. Let us handle the fulfillment. Let us take care of it. Get the easiness of selling as if you're selling on marketplaces. The easiness of it just gets significantly more sales through us. That's the difference, right? That's the difference. So to make a short answer to your questions, if you're not using a fulfillment network, then yes, we're facing it. We're feeling it because it's could be the best. That's what you offer us, right? But if you're using ours, then it's a no-brainer. If you're using our fulfillment network.
Well, that's also good to know too, because obviously, if you're doing it on your own terms, so you're operating. If you're working with a fulfillment center like yourself, you are going to be that end user that you can essentially rely on. So are you facilitating on behalf of like those Home Depots or those other retailers? Like you are the direct drop off at those locations, or what is that relationship like in terms of that fulfillment?
Sure. So when one of the retailers places an order with us, we will ship it from our fulfillment center to wherever they want us to ship it to. Sometimes it goes to their stores. Sometimes it goes directly to the consumer. It's really operating, at least at first, it operates very similar to e-commerce. It's the onesies and twosies types of orders that are getting sent out. Over time, the onesies and twosies becomes more than that, but that's how it gets started. And we fulfill that. We facilitate all of it. Even with delivery to the consumers. So we're facilitating that, and we're making sure that the products arrive in good condition, less of damages that this industry is so known for, and just
all good news to the seller. All good news to the ears of the seller. So, I have a couple more things because as we're kind of like coming to the top of the podcast. A couple more things. Pricing has always been the if I can regulate price, and Amazon's going to check it. If I'm selling on Amazon, they don't need to know that competitive pricing. It's going to be one of the lowest offered, if not the lowest offered, or at least across the board. How do I manage my pricing and know that it's not going to be like fluctuating? Do I have control over that? Do you have control of that? If I'm a seller, who's like responsible for the pricing structure, the listings, the imagery, all that kind of stuff? Like who's ultimately responsible for that?
So as far as the responsibility of getting the products listed on our platform is the seller's responsibility, right? Similar to selling on Amazon, it's really their responsibility. Now we do help them out. We have an account managers and seller support teams that really going to work close with the sellers to help them onboard the products. The onboarding products itself, it's a little bit more intense than maybe getting your products offered by Amazon. We do require additional data points, right? Just because we need to cater to the larger audience. So we do require a little bit more data points. But once you got it in, from that point on, we're taking it from there. Like, so you're giving us the price in which you want to get paid for, right? You don't need to worry about, we're not taking any commissions. This is not our business model, right? We're not taking commission off from you. So you're giving us the price that you want to get paid for. And then we're sampling the market. We're looking in the Internet of Things to see, okay, what are the appropriate price points that those retailers should really sell it over to the consumers, right? And we're giving them this information so they can then extend that price to the consumer at any given time. Now, we sample the market constantly. So we're actually doing the repricing for you as a seller, so you don't have to worry about that yourself. You don't have to worry about you're
only affecting your or whatever the price is at the end of the day. The seller at the end of the day, they tell you what net margin you want, and that's it. Right? That per unit sold, that's what they should expect in that regard. So
Yeah, and I just want to add that again, because I kind of mentioned that before, and I want to emphasize that because it's a different mindset. It's a different mindset of selling on the marketplace, and it starts off with the fact that, hey, there's not going to be any commission necessarily. It's going to be taken out of you because that's not our business model. But other than that, but with that said, pricing has to be sharp. Okay. In opposed to, we've seen when we first just started and we got some few Amazon sellers or Walmart sellers coming to us with their pricing, said, okay, listen, Amazon is taking 15% commission out of my out of my paycheck. I'm just going to deduct by 15%, and here you go, here's your price. Ain't gonna work. Okay, you are now selling to retailers. Retailers need their markups. They need their margins. They need that in order to promote the product, right? In order to advertise it. Just think about it and I explained that to one of the sellers in a different conversation. But if you want to promote your products on Amazon, right, or on Walmart, you're paying advertising, right? You go through the giveaways. That costs money, right? You pay for fulfillment. You pay for you're getting deducted commissions. All these things adds up, right? But it's on you to do all of those things, and everything gets down to your bottom line. Sometimes the pay-per-click can eat up your entire margins, can put you in a red line into a loss. In our case, you don't have to worry about those things. We're the one who's doing it. We're the one who's advertising. We're the one who's working with the retailers to advertise it, to do the promotions, the sales out there. There's no commission, so you have to make sure that those retailers, with all their buying power, have the ability to promote your products and not others. So you got to make sure that your pricing is sharp, much sharper than what you're selling on the Amazon or Walmart or the world, minus the commission. And with that said, you have to understand that your benefits of it, right, is that the exposure of how many eyeballs can potentially look at your products versus you selling on the marketplaces. Like, for example, just to demonstrate just some of the differences out there for our listeners, but in our vertical, furniture, home decor, if you take all the marketplaces combined, all of them, Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Etsy, you name it, just come up with some names. Which it doesn't matter. All of them combined don't have more than 10% of the market share. All of them combined. Yep. All of them. Now think that HomeRoots, you can get to an audience significantly larger than 10%.
Right. You're alluding to the fact that you can now expose yourself to 90% of business is done still to this day is in retail. And that is a significant, to a lot of people who are great with math, that's a significant opportunity, not just to sell online on those platforms, but to sell directly to those people who are, in turn, I'm assuming they're going to be reselling those products or selling them on their website, and then they're making profit, you make profit. You ultimately become the wholesaler to those retailers too. So a couple different things I think that are also opportunistic in that regards. Can you brand yourself in that regards to these other to these retailers, or is there very tough, stringent stipulations of you can't put your brand name in it, or you can't, like, are there any negatives that would hinder building a brand as an entrepreneur in this regards, or is it kind of opportunistic where you can put your brand name and say, like, this is Ryan's Coasters Plus or something like that? Like, they're, again, keeping it brand simple of what you're selling on Amazon, keeping it across the board of what your company name is. It being sold by you technically on these websites, or is it being sold by HomeRoots in that regards?
So it does get sold by HomeRoots as the brand as of now today. We are working on a program in which you will be able to develop your own brand within the HomeRoots space. But Fantastic. We will require that will be a brand that is not out there on Amazon or Walmart on the world, right? We don't want the sales channel conflicts. We don't want that thing. We don't want consumers going to the Amazon on the Walmart marketplaces of the world, finding the same brand that now they're finding it now on the Home Depot or Lowe's or this, because it just causes some tension, unnecessary tension between the retailers and the marketplaces. And again, you don't want, as a seller, you don't want that tension, because in the bigger pie, right, in the overall pie, Amazon and Walmart are very, very small percentage of the market. You're going to sacrifice the majority of the market for a very small portion. So my recommendation to the seller, don't do it. Separate the brands within time, once we enable that. But separate the brands, separate even the products assortment, come up with things that are brand new. Let us promote it to majority of the pie, right? And get you where you really need to be from your potential, right? And it's not that, the beauty of it, it's not also that nowadays it's not that intense and competitive, such as Amazon, that you constantly need to nickel and dime with your competitors of on every small thing. Here you can really make your money. You can really make your money, and without the nickeling and diming, without subscribing to 10 different services and systems to be able to sell. One service to do your advertising, another one to do your fulfillment, another one to do your finding what products are selling, what's not, another one that does your product listing. You don't have to worry about those things. Just relax, sit back, just get your products uploaded to us. Let us take it from there. We know what we're doing. We have the network. We have the facilities. We have the capabilities. Let us be your virtual sales and marketing machine that will take care of it. And one more thing to end, and even beyond the sales and marketing machine, we're also handling a lot of the back office things. So we're the first one to go after to respond to customer inquiries, right? You don't have to worry about that. We're the ones who's going to make sure that you're going to get paid on time. Whatever you ask to get paid for the products, there's no delays, there's no chargebacks. It's very straightforward, right? So you just go. What we're asking from our sellers is really two steps. Right, or three major things. I would say one, first, obviously register. Go to homeroots.co, register. Look to register as a seller. So it's at the bottom of the homepage. You scroll down, become a supplier. You go there, you register. You start your application. Then you list your products. You let us take care of it, and then you need to take care of two things. One, make sure that you fulfill on time if you are getting orders from us. And second, make sure you always have inventory. Just watch out for those things. We're going to help you out with projections and predictions and everything else. But you got to make sure at the end of the day that you're keeping items with inventory. You don't want to like seller, like in other marketplaces or on Google, you don't want to start having sales velocity and then you lose it because of lack of inventory. So we're going to help you out with that. We're definitely going to help you out. But those things you need to do, and then just keep on increasing more and more products. Let us do the rest.
Amazing. Well, that opportunity, I mean, again, it's how do you distribute to that big piece of the pie, if you will, of, although it might not be the easiest, or it might be easy for you, or now it's consolidated down to be easy for you. It's a different way to you as an entrepreneur and make money off of the products you're selling. Again, it comes with different pros and cons. I think we both agreed, but a lot more pros I'm hearing than cons in that regard. So Gil, I guess, finally wrapping up in these last couple of minutes, going into Q4, today's October 1st. What's your expectation for e-commerce in general? Maybe across the board. Are you more worried that it's going to be a down year from last year, or do you think it's going to plateau, or do you think it's growth? What's kind of maybe your 2 to 3 takeaways or expectations, if you had to maybe forecast a little bit in the next 90 days or so for the remainder of 2021, what's kind of your things that you're keeping an eye on, and that e-commerce sellers or just the podcast listener today should also take an eye or keep an eye on?
Yeah. So e-commerce is here to grow, here to stay and grow. So that will continue to grow for the rest of Q4, for the rest of the year, and into next year, and the next years to come. Right? It's just that's I think we're all in agreement that that's where the market is headed. There's no doubt about that. So it's going to continue to grow. But for you as a seller to make sure that you're growing and you're benefiting from that wave of growth, instead you got to make sure you have inventory, solid inventory all the time. Now it's crazy out there. hard to book ocean freights and containers and release from. It's difficult, but you got to plan. You got to plan ahead, take more lead time. Whatever you initially project, it's going to take you 3 months to get from China or elsewhere into the US. Now take another buffer, add another month or 2 months. You don't want to lose sales because of lack of inventory. You want to have inventory all the time, and you want it to move out fast. Okay, so it can be very, I will say, sunny season despite entering the winter. It'd be very sunny season for sellers out there, assuming that they have inventory, assuming that they fulfill on time, and there's no issues there. I see a great potential in this vertical. I can tell you that the furniture and home decor is among the top 10 categories, the fastest growing categories in the market. Actually, two subcategories in this section are among the top 10 fastest growing categories in the North American market. I think even on a global scale, if I'm not mistaken, but I can be double checked. So the potential is there, and I believe that I really believe that there's room for growth for all of our sellers, as well as our retailers. As our customers, we're taking care of them as well, even though we're putting less focus on them during this discussion, but we take care of both sides.
Well, I'm going to say, I'm assuming there's plans for international growth and helping international sellers as well in this marketplace. But gosh, we need another hour for that conversation as well. But I think that's in your plan, if I'm not mistaken, of when we had that last conversation, having all sorts of opportunities for sellers internationally too, to make them get in front of, like you said, that 90%, that pie, if you will, of places where there's so much commerce still happening. And that's why we call this crossover commerce. It's a show that touches on all aspects of building and growing a brand, but then also how do I diversify and grow that? So that means it. I know we're already up on time. Like an hour flies by. I always promise that it's going to be a quick hour. So for the listeners who are still with us and the people who are listening at the end of the show, what are the best ways to get in contact with you, the team, get signed up, or learn more information? Is it still just go to HomeRoots.co? What are those ways to connect with you or the team?
Sure. So I believe my LinkedIn and the company's LinkedIn information is here in this podcast. But regardless, you can just go to HomeRoots.co. You can email either to accounts@homeroots.co or onboarding at homeroots.co. But really, the fastest way to get started is really, again, visiting homeroots.co, scrolling down at the bottom, see apply to be a supplier, and start the process from there. It's pretty straightforward form to fill out, but in case somebody has any questions, they can always either ping us on the chat, because we have a chat there available on the site, or send us an email, call us. Again, the contact information is also listed on our homepage, and just get the process from there. And then after registration is complete and we're reviewing your, our team will review your account, somebody will reach out to you. An account manager will reach out to you. An onboarding manager will reach out to you and guide you through the process, right? Again, it's a little bit more in elaborative process than just selling on other marketplaces. We do require a little bit more data points. But for that, we have a team. It's going to help you out to get started and just to get open to a totally different world. Much larger.
I love that. I love that promise. That's fantastic. And of course, from hearing you and the team and talking with you and other sorts of conversations, I think there's lots of opportunity here. I know that I'm a big proponent of lots of direct-to-consumer marketplaces. Again, there's other ones out there in the home garden category. I think it's no surprise that, you call them Wayfair, Zulily, everyone across the board. But this is an opportunity to kind of link have those missing links and connect them all. I love it when solutions can come together, be innovative, and really offer a solution that you can get your products, not just in your, again, that's where the evolution of e-commerce really came from, is now instead of selling to my hometown, now instead of selling in my city, now I can actually sell across the country, across the world, and have my products get in front of people that wouldn't necessarily get to see that or experience it or enjoy it. So that's why it's super cool to see technologies and companies like yours grow and kind of match those, find those gaps and connect those dots, if you will. And everyone's happier because of it. So hey, thank you so much, Gil, for hopping on today. I know you're a busy person and spending just an hour of your time today educating our audience. I know lots of people are saying hi. We have lots of eyeballs and ears on this podcast. So again, thank you so much for just lending some of your expertise and time and sharing what HomeRoots is doing for now and in the future. So happy Q4, I'm going to say. I'm going to do it's I have a little confetti burst for certain individual things, like it's a celebration. But like just for the visual audience out there, we're going to celebrate it because it's an exciting and busy and scary time right now. So best of luck to you and the team, and we're looking forward to partnering with you and your organization as well here at Ping Pong.
Best of luck to all of us and the listeners, and it's been a pleasure being here, Ryan. I really enjoy it. It's really fun.
Absolutely. Well, have a good rest of your day and enjoy the weekend, and we'll just kind of cap off the rest of this episode. Again, Gil, now friend of the podcast here at Crossover Commerce. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Awesome. Again, everyone else, thank you again for tuning into episode 162 of Crossover Commerce. Again, fantastic episode. I think you saw me nodding a lot. I think there's a lot of really great takeaways, specifically that when I'm listening to this, I think you as a growing brand, you want your products to get in front of as many people as possible. Again, those opportunities, you can only do so many things at a time. Time is one of those valuable assets that you don't get a lot of, and it's across the board. Everyone has so much of it. So working with an opportunity or a marketplace or a service like this is going to get that product. If you're in, again, that category specifically in the home section, this is going to get you in front of so many more eyeballs that you can specifically say, hey, we're going to be a bit more competitive. We can see that growth potential. And again, we know that logistics and supply chain are struggling right now, but there's other opportunities out there. If you're one of those fortunate companies that have it figured out, have a team that's backing you up, this is one of those other areas that you can see that growth and really plan for not just now, but again, for 2022. I think a lot of people are starting to look forward and making sure that they're set for Q4, but what does that next year look like? And so if you have other questions, again, you can reach out to Gil and his team. Again, HomeRoots.co. That's HomeRoots.co. Spell it how it sounds. And it's also going to be in the comments section. And we flash it up there on the screen for the visual audience. And it's going to be in the comments section as well for the podcast audience. I'm Ryan Cramer. Again, this is Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy October 1st. Happy beginning of Q4. This is Crossover Commerce, is my corner of the internet where I bring the best and brightest in the Amazon e-commerce space, and there's more content coming your way. So if you haven't experienced the show before, make sure you subscribe to our channels and to be notified of future live episodes and then when new audio versions come out. And again, you can check out those past ones at usa.pingpongx.com/podcast. Again, I'm Ryan Cramer. This is my corner of the internet. This is Crossover Commerce. This is episode 162 of Crossover Commerce. We'll catch you guys next time on another episode. Take care.